I'm going to show you my soft plastic bag. This is the bag I carry everything in. You know, there's quite a bit that can fit in this bag. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Great trigger. This is one of the things I carry is a Trigger X trailer for football jigs. I have in my tackle box. Maybe I'll do a review on that later. Okay, this is one thing I carry. The second thing, I use these at the Elk Rapids Power Dam. When the bass come into the spawn, they love leeches, they love little bugs, and these work great. Highly recommended. When I'm fishing for bass, this is all bass stuff. Caffeine Shad by Strike King. Trailer Chunks by Strike King. These are the Okeechobee craw. Works real good for trailers on your jigs and whatnot. The next is a pumpkin seed, Strike King coffee scent. Works real well here in Northwest Michigan. I carry coffee tubes by Strike King. Very well made. The next is Strike King rodent. Either I will Texas rig these or I will use this as a trailer chunk. And by the way, this guy right here, Kevin Van Dam, is the man. 7-time Bassmaster Elite Series winner. I carry some more big baits, big bass like big baits. Tubes. Works great. Grand Traverse Bay. Bounce them off the top when the bass are under beds. Bounce them off the bottom, I meant. Works real well. Hula Grubs. These work real good down at Union Street Dam. Gary Automotive. Now the 3 baits I'm going to show you how to rig today is a Gary Automotive Wacky Style, the Yum Crawdad, the Berkley Power Bait 10-inch rubber worm, and the 2-bait. We're going to start out with the easiest and work our way up to the hardest. The easiest out of these 4 baits to rig is the Wacky Style worm, and this is pretty easy. You just kind of let it hang there and do its thing, and you try to find the center of the worm. You just loop it through a number 6 Gary Automotive Wacky Style hook. And what I like to do is I like to put a small O-ring here and a small O-ring on the back, so when that bass grabs this Wacky Style worm that's floating in the water like this, you drag behind you can troll with these or just jig with them. Your worm will have a less chance of being thrown by the fish, and then you can save baits that way. Okay, that's Wacky Style. Now, next, we're going to do the 2-bait. A lot of people on YouTube just, I noticed they just use the hook. Well, when you're actually out on the field, your hook's actually going to be tied to your braid or your, whatever your fishing line you're using, Molly Pollen or whatever. But anyways, off shank hook. We're gonna start doing this 2-bait here. What I like to do is I like to bring it just past the barb, and then you're gonna bring it through and around. So it's up like that now. You bring it through here, straight up the hook, you hit your off shank spot, you bring it around, and you want to bury that tip of that right in there. Now, same thing. You're gonna measure it out to where you know exactly where to put this hook, off shank hook, right through. So you want to go from the bottom of this round. Okay, so you know you got to bring that bait up that far right there, and you bring it through, keeping it straight as you can, guys, just like that. And what I do is I just like to punch this through, so there's already a hole there. Looks kind of goofy right now, looks a little crooked, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this 2-bait back up. I did that on purpose so I can purposely skin hook it. And what skin hooking does is it keeps you out of the weeds, it keeps you from getting hooked on branches. When you throw that in there, then you just bring your tungsten weight down, bring your bobber stop, bring your bead down, and then your bobber stop down. The bobber stop, what the bobber stop does is it keeps this tungsten weight from traveling up your line, and this would be waiting, your weight would be down here and your bait would be back here, and you have more of a chance of getting snagged. So I just bring that down, and that holds that tungsten weight right where it should be, right at the tip of that tube bait. That right there's a perfectly rigged tube bait right there. Now you're asking yourself, well, how are you going to hook a bass if it's skin hooked? What happens is your bass comes in like this, his mouth's going to come down, he's going to collapse this bait. Right there is more than enough hook. After you feel that hit, you're going to pull on that, it's going to pull that little bit of skin right off that hook, and that's more than enough hook right there to hook a bass. Alright, there's your basic tube bait. Next will be the Yum Crawdad. Same hook. I use these on my open face reel. If I'm flipping or sticking them, I will use a tungsten weight, but here we go. If you can see, there's a large amount of rubber right here on his back end. What you do is you want to line it up with the back right straight as you can, and there's a good chunk of rubber on the back, and you just bring it back through just like that. Then you bring your shot off shank down, you twist it around, bring it around, and then there's a little point. How you know you're straight is on these ones there's a little gap right here, and what I like to do is I know that this point right here in between his little fake antennas here is the absolutely center point of this bait. So you just bring that through, feel for it. These are really hard to, a lot of people have a problem with these, rigging these, because they're so small and there's not a whole lot of meat to hang on to them. There we go. There it is. And another way you can tell when you're in the center of this bait is there's a center line right here, and if your top of your hook lines up perfect with that, then you're all set. And then once again, you just skin hook it, bring your weight down if you're using one for flipping, and there it is, a perfectly straight Crawdaddy Texas rig. It don't get no better than this, guys. Practice it, learn it. It'll make your fishing experience a whole lot better. Now, time for the toughest one a lot of people have a hard time with. That's the 10-inch Berkley Power Bait Pumpkin Seed Rubber Worm. If I can get this off without hooking me. There we go. Now, a lot of people are afraid of this, doing this, because they can't get their bait straight enough, or it's curled and it's just twisting in the water instead of traveling straight horizontal with your hook. So what I like to do is start this. You have a finished side and you have a dead side of a plastic worm. This is your dead side, perfectly flat. This is your finished side. So what you do is you bring it just past the barb, guys, and you bring it through your unfinished side about a quarter, just like that. See much only came through that head of that worm right there. That's how much you want. Then you bring it up, get this line out of your way, hold this line. I like to tuck it between my two middle fingers and my pinky, and then you just bring this down. Okay, you got that, you're at your off shank, so you have to turn it, work it in there. What I like to do is bury that in there. Now this right here is where a lot of people will screw up, is either they'll take too much worm or not enough worm. Okay, so what you do is you measure it out. You want this worm to be perfectly vertical, up and down, level to your hook. Okay, see where it's hanging? So right there is where I want to put my hook through, so I'm going to measure it out with my finger. Then I'm going to bend it around, keeping this worm as straight as you can, guys, because this is what's going to make it trail right. Then you bring it around, perfect, just like that. Now you skin hook it. I normally use these on a open cast reel or my bait caster reel with the tungsten weight. And right there, guys, is a perfectly rigged 10-inch Berkley Texas rig worm. You can't do it no better than this. This worm is perfectly true. It's perfectly vertical. There's no crinkles in the hook set. Nothing. You just skin hook that to keep you out of the weeds, and you're all set. That right there, my guys, is a perfectly rigged Texas rigged worm. I mean, there is no bends, no scrapes, nothing. That is perfect. And it's going to travel through the water with your finished side up, just like that, perfectly straight. Well, that's all I have for today. That's about it. I'm going to probably do a review on my bass box. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your views. And I hope you learned something off this video. Take care, guys.